Hi there, my name is Kimberly Wilson of Tranquility Du Jour, and welcome to another episode of Tea with Kimberly. So please grab your tea or your libation of choice. And today I'm going to be chatting about writing a letter to your future self. Now, this work is based on these beautiful gentlemen, James Pennebaker and John Evans. So a few years ago, I took a workshop at Duke University with John Evans. And if any of you live in that area, please look him up, because that was an amazing workshop on really using writing as a path to heal. So this book, Expressive Writing, Words That Heal, using expressive writing to overcome traumas and emotional upheavals, resolve issues, improve health, and build resilience. Who knew writing could be so transformative? So what I'm going to encourage you all to do in this week's episode is write a letter to your future self. Now, those of you who have the Tranquility Du Jour Daybook or Year of Tranquility, which are two books that came out in 2019 that I wrote, I want to talk through this particular process and also let you know there is a downloadable available for you at kimberlywilson.com/letter. Okay, so that'll give you all these instructions in case what I say to you goes in one ear and out the other. I tend to be more of a visual learner, right, versus auditory. So in case you are that way also, no worries. You are going to have a visual option too. Okay, and that's kimberlywilson.com/letter. All right, so picture yourself a year from today having accomplished or having taken steps toward accomplishing your year's dreams. So thinking about, okay, what are your big picture dreams for the year? And this can be done mid-year. It doesn't have to be done at the start of the year. My birthday's June 30th, so I like to do this around my birthday also. So think about, okay, 1 year from today, if you could be living the most amazing kind of like transformative life you could imagine, right? So where would you be living? Who would you be with? What would you be eating? What would you be wearing? You know, like say you're in the corporate world and you're like, I want to work in a garden, right? So you would be in overalls, right? So just thinking about all of these different aspects as you visualize kind of what would an ideal look like? How do you feel? Where are you? What are you doing? What are you eating? Who are you with? What are you wearing? Okay, so that's what's on this sheet, which is a lot of what I just mentioned, right? So see if you can get a visual representation of this in your mind. And then next, pen yourself a letter to open a year from now and write it in the present tense. For example, I'm so glad you made self-care a priority this year. You are now sleeping through the night, eating more whole foods, and doing yoga 3 times a week. So that would be your letter. And then you would keep going. I'm glad that you have been able to declutter and that you've made plants and flowers, a priority in your environment. Just thinking about those things that you're like, I want to interject more of this into my life. And then keep going. Bring those micro movements to life here and dream about how life will look once you make yourself and your goals a priority. Okay, and micro movements are, if we think about these bigger picture goals, right? So for example, say a bigger picture goal was, I want to write a book, right? I want to write a novel. So some micro movements for that would be get clear on storyline, take a fiction writing class, open up a Word document and label it novel. Develop characters, all these different pieces that can help you get clear on how do I bring this bigger picture dream to life. And then instructions are to write your letter on your favorite stationery, dated a year from today. Okay, so you now be like, well, what do I do with the letter? Well, so what can be great is to give it to a friend to actually mail to you a year from today, if you know someone who is reliable to do that. If not, tuck it into your planner or have it like pinned up on a bulletin board, but something that says do not open until, and then the date. And then it's a wonderful reminder about, okay, this was what I wanted to manifest or bring forth, or I wanted my life to look like. How am I doing? And this is not at all to berate yourself if it's not looking the way You had hoped. I mean, sometimes life intervenes. We have sick family members, we lose a job, I mean, all sorts of things. Or we change our mind and we want something completely different. All possible. So for you, think about what can you do to honor yourself for the steps that you have taken. And then also, if you need a little like nudge, it's like, oh man, that's right. I did want to declutter like 25% of my stuff. That's been on my list for the past 2 years, as I really just want to go through. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff and I live in 600 square feet with 4 animals and a partner. I know. It's like, we do what we do. So with that in mind, okay, what can I do? So for me, like I need to set aside a declutter day, ideally a declutter weekend. I need to pull out all these reusable bags. I like the ones that have the flat bottoms so that I can just keep adding. And then I would need to go and drop at Goodwill, etc. And one thing I have tried to do to help with this decluttering problem, which as you can see has a lot to do with books, is getting more books on Kindle. And I've really resisted this because I love to feel me a book. But you know what? There's something about having like a whole library on a small device that you can take with you as you go. So I hope this has been helpful as you think about writing a letter to your future self. And also, don't forget to download KimberlyWilson.com/letter. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.